Thanks. Good morning. And welcome to the Unitarian Coastal Fellowship and happy Earth Day. As Unitarian Universalists, we believe that all things are connected in this world. We hold great respect for the interdependent web of all existence in which we are a part. Reverend Micah is away, and Penny and I welcome Choir Director Tom Cullison, Children and Family Ministries Sarah Grenier. Where's Sarah? She's somewhere. Okay. I hope she's here. And our accompanist, Megan Smith. Looks like we have Karen and Barb on the tech team over there, working with the AV and making things happen on Zoom. Do we have any visitors in the sanctuary today? Would you like to stand up and introduce yourself? Oh, you were supposed to take the microphone. I forgot about that. Thanks. That's okay. Do we want to tell who's on Zoom as well? You're going to take. Yeah, sorry about that. Oh, you're going to take that. We're getting organized here.
So they can't hear you on Zoom if you don't.
Oh my goodness. My name's Tasha Holden. I live in Morehead City. I work at Beaufort Vision. I recognize some of you people from getting your eyeglasses from me. And this is my Aunt Harriet, who I adore.
Anybody else?
You want to introduce yourself, Sam?
I'm Sam Altman. I'm Harriet's son. And this isn't my first time at this fellowship, so it's good to be back. I live in Chapel Hill currently, but it's nice to be here.
Welcome.
Should we see who's on Zoom? Do you want to see who's on Zoom?
Okay, on Zoom we have Brad, Happy Eubank, Carrie Matheson, Landon Ellswick, Lauren, I assume Donachie, and Martha Nassett and Joe, and Teresa's iPhone.
All right, thank you. So welcome, everyone. Everybody wave at the people in Zoom. And now Joe Ellen Essex has some announcements for us today.
Hi, I'm Joellen Essex. I'm chair of the Finance Committee, and I have some good news about our our drive, our pledge drive. We are up to 151,000, which is almost to where we wanted to be. But I have other good news in that we have a very generous donor who would like to match your pledge if you haven't pledged yet, or you want to increase your pledge. They will help us by increasing up to $5,000 more. So think about it, and there's extra pledge cards, I think, either in the foyer or the social hall. And then we invite everyone in the sanctuary to turn off your cell phone. Those on Zoom, you can turn off your cameras to conserve bandwidth. Now, please turn and greet your neighbor.
That was fun, wasn't it? On this beautiful Earth Day, and it is beautiful, rain is gorgeous, right? Rain brings life. Thank you, Adam. Us. Following the service, we'll see what the weather looks like, and we may have to change our date for weeding the front yard here. We'll see. On this beautiful Earth Day, we would like to open our worship service with involving the youth. This is about the next generation. So we are inviting Emily to read a prayer written by Pope Francis. This is from his encyclical on the environment. You may remember that. It was published in 2015 and made quite a stir among the 1.5 billion Catholics who listen to his encyclical. This is called A Prayer for the Earth, and thank you, Emily, for reading.
All-powerful God, you are present in the whole universe and in the smallest of your creatures. You embrace with your tenderness all that exists. Pour out upon us the power of love, that we may protect life and beauty. Fill us with peace, that we may live as brothers and sisters, harming no one. O God of the poor, help us to rescue the abandoned and forgotten of this earth. So precious in your eyes, bring healing to our lives, that we may protect the world and not prey on it. That we may sow beauty, not pollution and destruction, touch the hearts of those who look only for gain, at the expense of the poor and the earth. Teach us to discover the worth of each thing, to be filled with awe and contemplation, to recognize that we are profoundly united with every creature as we journey towards your infinite light. We thank you for being with us each day. Encourage us, we pray, in our struggle for justice, love, and peace.
Hope. That's what faith is about, is hope. Yes. Turn the page here. Today, whoopsie, we will be doing a chalice lighting, and our young person for lighting the chalice is Hope. And what a beautiful name. So come on up, Hope, and we'll get you going. We light this chalice to find inner peace, love for each other, and faith in ourselves. Also, to be welcoming to whomever we meet and kind to all living creatures. So gather round this light of hope as we share this time together. We also light our peace candle. Peace, as we know, is not merely an absence of conflict, but the presence of justice. And we might remind ourselves that peace is a process that requires work. Thank you, Hope. I think we should involve Hope in every service. And Emily. So right now, we'd like to have you stand as you are willing and able for our opening hymn. Many of you are familiar with this, number 21 in the gray hymnal, For the Beauty of the Earth.
For the beauty of the earth, for the splendor of the skies, for the love which from our birth over and around us lies, source of all to thee we raise this our hymn of grateful praise. For the joy of prayer and eye, for the heart and mind's delight, for the mystic harmony, linking sense to sound and sight, source of all to thee grateful praise. For the wonder of each hour, for the day and of the night, hill and vale and tree and flower, sun and moon and stars of night, source of all to thee we raise this our hymn of grateful praise. For the joy of human care, sister, brother, parent, child, for the kinship, for the share, for all gentle thoughts and mild, source of all to thee we raise our hymn of grateful praise.
Actually, Sarah.
Sarah Cornelia?
Oh,
she's in the nursery.
we were going to do time for all ages.
Yeah, she was in charge of Time for All Ages. I think she's planning.
Here she is. Okay, yay, woo. Okay,
In the nick of time.
and so now we invite Sarah to share with you time for all ages.
We're very busy in the nursery this morning. Oh, you don't have it? I printed it out, but it's in the back. I thought you had that sheet. Oops. I sure will. So this week we're talking about our planet, right? It's Earth Day this week, and our seventh principle talks about how we appreciate the Earth and we need to care for it because this is our only planet, as we say. There's no planet B. So today in the back, we're going to do a story. So we're trying to implement spirit play. So it's a method of storytelling for the older kids where we use props to have a story instead of read a book. And so today we are talking about the changing sea. So we talk about turtles today, and we are on the coast, so a lot of us know a lot about our turtle population and how we protect our nests, and we go out there and we look for them and we make sure nobody messes with them. But even though we do that on the beach, we know that in the ocean there's a lot of things that aren't going so well for our turtles. So somebody call out, what are the things in the ocean that are hindering our turtles? Plastic, yes. Anything else? Bags, definitely the bags, because they think they're the jellyfish, right? So that's going to be in our story today when we go back. So we're going to talk about the trash, and then hopefully all of us smart humans can come together in the end of this story to figure out how to unwrap the turtles and get rid of the plastic bags to help save our oceans, because our oceans do a lot, even though we can't see underneath. And then the part I had printed out that I missed, we are going to be writing love letters to things that we want to love and protect. So in the story, it talked about a little boy, and I work at Camp Albemarle, so I teach at nature school. So we are under those old oak trees, and they give us acorns to play with, and they give us sticks to play with, and they give us leaves to throw in the air and jump around in. So in this story, the little boy was talking about how much he loved the tree, and he wanted to protect it. So he wrote a love letter to the tree of all the things he would do to make sure nobody cut it down. So I think of Camp Albemarle when I read that story. So I'm sorry I don't have it to read to you today, but we're going to do some fun things in the back with the kiddos later. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. That sounded great. So every week we make some time and some space and time to be human and celebrate our joys and grieve our sorrows together. Should you wish to share a personal joy or concern about a person or persons in your life, there is a paper to fill out and a place in the basket on the way to the chalice. After our ritual, we will read these personal joys and concerns to the congregation. We line up over by the wall and select stones or shells to represent our joys and concerns from the basket and gently place them into the chalice of water. So I invite you now to our stones and water ritual. They will be talking. So this is both a joy and a concern. As we celebrate Earth Day today, let us remember the joys that Mother Earth gives us, as well as the challenges we face to keep her a healthy planet in these times of rapid climate change. Our longtime member, Pat White, is in the hospital in Newbern, and she is bored out of her mind. Please give her a call. Her contact information is in Breeze, or you can ask her son, Ron White. Ask Ron to raise his hand. That's what it says. Ask Ron to raise his hand, if present. So Joellen, this is a joy. Joellen celebrates the birth of her rainbow baby, Philip, who turns 35 on Earth Day. So, where's Joellen? Oh, there she is. Okay. So by the light of this chalice, let us together take a moment to hold in our hearts all, known to us and unknown, who are struggling. For the sorrows and concerns shared here, may you feel our sympathy and compassion. Take a moment to open our hearts to joy, ours or that of others, known to us and unknown. We join you in celebration. And for all that remains unspoken, both joy and sorrow, may the caring of our community offer you both kindness and hope. And now, if you'll please join us in singing the children out with the blessing song. Matters what I do. Know about God is a piece of the truth. What you don't do it alone. It's a blessing. Know about God is a piece of the truth. So now we'll just take a couple of minutes for silent meditation.
Good morning, folks. I'm Penny Hooper, and Harriet and I are going to be the new co-chairs of the Green Sanctuary Committee. We're so glad you all came out today to celebrate the holiday with us, and we may or we may not get to the gardening after the service. Who knows what the rain will do? Many of you already know me. You know me as an active environmentalist for many, many years, probably since that first Earth Day in 1970. I have worked in a secular and a non-secular fashion, meaning I've worked with the Sierra Club and all kinds of faith groups trying to bring awareness about climate change. I married my husband in 1974, which works out to be 50 years ago. And in these last 50 years together, thank you. I'm sure he would agree with that. In these last 50 years together, which we'll celebrate on May 25th, we have tried to live gently on the earth, doing many of the same things that all of you do in this congregation, and most UUs in general have done to live gently on the earth. We have worked at reducing our carbon footprint as best we can in order to teach by example how to live in a rapidly warming climate. We also have volunteered time, lots of it, and money, lots of it, to many of the same organizations you all support, like this church, like the Sierra Club, like the Audubon Society and the Waterkeepers Alliance and the Citizens Climate Lobby and the North Carolina Interfaith Power and Light, and more. You each know what you give to. I also taught environmental biology, and that was over at the community college where I taught other life sciences for 16 years. I retired in 2010, and one of the things I always taught my environmental biology students and marine science students was to remember the 3 S's. It seemed to be a good way to just have something stick from that 16 weeks I had them. And the 3 S's were meant to be taken up when they were considering their actions and their judgments about environmental issues. Maybe you'll find them useful too. The first one I always made them ask was, is it based on sound science? Is it peer-reviewed? Is it something that you can count on as true? So the first S is sound science, 2 S's actually. The second one was, is it sustainable? Meaning, can you continue this action indefinitely? Sustainability was a big word a few years back, and that's what the second S is. And the third one is, does it show good stewardship of our resources? So between sound science, sustainability, and the final one, good stewardship, I felt like I was sending them into the world with a way to approach the issues that we face today. These were great questions to ask in the classroom, but after many years of watching the continued degradation of our climate and our planet, and the abuse and the unjust treatment of our marginalized neighbors, I began to think seriously about how the 3 S's translated into the real world. In this next slide, you can see where our goal would be to educate and empower people to speak out. The Green Sanctuary continues to do that in this Green Sanctuary Committee, in this fellowship. We joined this fellowship, and many of the folks are in those pictures, in 1996, and soon thereafter, our minister, Reverend Bob Murphy at that time, suggested to me to start this committee. Well, we did, and we moved along beautifully. Everybody was enthusiastic about it, and we always went out and did our thing in collaboration with anybody that wanted to stand with us. In 2006, one of the things we did was brought Al Gore's movie. Anybody remember the title? An Inconvenient Truth. Yeah. We brought that movie in 2006 to UCF. How many of you have seen that movie? It's not, oh, good. Do you remember the J-shaped curve, the hockey stick they called it, on how our planet was going to change as the temperature rose rapidly, not in geologic time, but rapidly, if we continued burning fossil fuels? So we had a big deal about no drilling offshore, and we had a big deal about switching our vehicles to electric vehicles and working hard to stop our carbon footprint by not burning fossil fuels. Well, that was an inconvenient truth indeed. It was suggested for our congregation by a good friend that many of you may remember. Bob Meadows was involved in the school system for many years, and he was from St. Andrew's Church. And St. Andrew's Church is kind of like our partner church. We get them involved in most everything we do. He showed it on behalf of an organization called North Carolina Interfaith Power and Light. That is not an electric utilities company, just so you know. The power and the light is within each of us, and that's what we teach through that organization. Today, we will be using postcards from Interfaith Power and Light. They say on the front, they're in the back on a nice green tablecloth, you can't miss them, with plenty of pens. And it says, I pledge to vote with climate and creation in mind. Faith votes. Isn't that the truth? We take our morals to the voting table, and we put our ideals in the hands of the legislature. Let's let them know what we think. Let's let them know what we think about climate change. There's a box back there, and you can put the finished postcards in that box, and I will take care of mailing them, and Interfaith Power and Light will send them on for us. That's an action we're taking. We like to coordinate what we do and say with actions. Actions are important. So, I volunteered and served on the board of Interfaith Power and Light for about 15 years. And I participated in actions by lobbying in Congress with our representatives on the board. And there is still much to be done, as you know. Yes, 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 yes. Yes, the postcard says, I pledge to vote with climate and creation in mind, and that is part of what we're doing for the 3 S's today. Good stewardship. Good stewardship. What I've decided in the many years since that first Earth Day I participated in is that you cannot change people's minds by only sharing the 3 S's of sound science, sustainability, and good stewardship. I must not only speak to people from my head. I can do that really well, but that's not the way I'm going to win people over. I must speak from my heart. I must tell people, as not as I did in the classroom, but as I can do from this pulpit, that I begin with that. I begin from the heart. I begin my conversations in a different way now. I try to find out what that person feels is most important to them. What would they write the love letter about if they were writing a love letter? In other words, what do they love? What do they love? If I start with that discussion, I find out that we really are all on the same page. We love our family. We love nature. We love our faith if we are faith-seeking people. But there is no faith I know of that doesn't have as 2 of its main tenets that we should care for creation, and also that we should care for the least among us. Is that not true? What faith has anything but that as your basic tenet? Care for the least among us and care for creation. Those are the 2 C's that I would add to my 3 S's. So now we got to keep track of 5 things, right? And care is the main C. I'd like to leave you with this quote from the NCIPL website and with this photo. This was a few years back of my granddaughter. Our climate, our communities, and our faith compel us to call for bold and just action. We have a moral responsibility as a nation and a sacred task as people of faith to care for our climate and to leave a safe, just, and thriving world for future generations. Thank you.
Invite Tom up here in the choir.
So this is a piece written by Mary Lightfoot, All Things Are Connected, speaking about how the entire web of life is connected. We all use the same breath. And our narrator this morning is Susan Fetzer.
The wisdom of the great chief Seattle reminds us all things are connected. Whatever befalls the earth befalls the children of the earth. All things share the same breath. The beast, the tree, the man, the air shares its spirit with all the life it supports. We did not weave the web of life. We are merely a strand in it. Whatever we do to the web, we do to ourselves. This we know.
All things are connected. All living things share the same breath. All things are connected. The air shares its spirit with the Lord. All things are connected, just like the blood which unites us all. All things are connected. Whatever befalls the earth befalls the children of the earth.
Treat the earth well. It was not given to you by your parents. It was loaned to you by your children. We do not inherit the earth from our ancestors. We borrow it from our children.
Beauty of the tree, let it speak, and nature sing to the fragrance of the flower and the freshness of the grass. The music of the sea, let it speak, and nature sing to through hills and mountains, thundering skies and the rhythm of life. All things are connected, just like the blood which unites us all. All things are connected. Whatever befalls the earth befalls the children of the earth. All things are connected. All things are connected. All things are connected. All things.
Only after the last tree has been cut down, only after the last river has been poisoned, only after the last fish has been caught, only then will we find money cannot be eaten.
That was beautiful. Thank y'all so much. So every now and then you read something, you see something, or you experience something that you feel compelled to share. That's the way I felt when I began reading Braiding Sweetgrass by Robin Wall Kimmerer. With climate change, sea level rise, pollution, out-of-control development, and other environmental threats on the rise, Kimmerer's stories resonated more than ever. First, a brief introduction to Robin Wall Kimmerer. She is a mother, scientist, decorated professor, and enrolled member of the Citizen Potawatomi Nation. She lives in Syracuse, New York, where she is a distinguished teaching professor of environmental biology at the State University of New York, and the founder and director of the Center for Native Peoples and the Environment. She has written 2 books, Braiding Sweetgrass, and her first book called Gathering Moss. As Unitarian Universalists, the interconnectedness embodied in respect for the interdependent web of all existence for which we are a part, one of our 7 principles, is familiar to us all. However, when I started reading Braiding Sweetgrass, I felt tremendous deepening and reinforcement of the interconnectedness I already felt in my heart. As a young girl and beyond, I never had a yearning to learn science. It always just seemed very dry and boring. But Robin Wall Kimmerer, in her book, Braiding Sweetgrass, gave me a different perspective on science as she, quote, braided together scientific knowledge, indigenous wisdom, and the teachings of plants. I told my husband that if Robin Wall Kimmerer had been my teacher, my life might have taken an entirely different path. Here I am today as a non-biologist, but with each page of her book, my connection became that much stronger to all the life forms around me. In this book, Kimmerer compares indigenous teachings to our Western teachings. In the Western tradition, there is a recognized hierarchy of beings, with, of course, the human being on top, the pinnacle of evolution, the darling of creation, and the plants at the bottom. But in native ways of knowing, humans are often referred to as the younger brothers of creation. She goes on to say that humans have the least experience in how to live and the most to learn. We must look to our teachers among the other species for guidance. Their wisdom is apparent in the way that they live. They teach by example. Plants know how to make food and medicine from light and water, and then they give these away. Throughout the book, she gives examples of what we can learn from plants, what they can teach us, and how the Native Americans understood the importance of respecting plants and demonstrating this by always showing gratitude. Why sweetgrass? Its scientific name, Hierochlodorata, means the fragrant holy grass. In the Potawatomi language, it is called wingashk, the sweet-smelling hair of Mother Earth. As Kimmerer says, quote, breathe it in and you start to remember things you didn't know you'd forgotten, unquote. A sheaf of sweetgrass, bound at the end and divided into thirds, is ready to braid. Braiding sweetgrass requires a certain amount of tension, so the sweetest way to braid is to have someone hold the end so you pull gently against each other, leaning in, chatting and laughing. Linked by sweetgrass, there is a reciprocity between the two of you. Can we bend our heads together and make a braid while we honor the earth? And sweetgrass spreads underground through rhizomes, much like the message of this book, word of mouth, person to person, hand to hand. Kimmerer's quote, I can offer you a braid of sweetgrass, but it is not mine to give, nor yours to take. Wingashk belongs to herself. So I offer a braid of stories meant to heal our relationship to the world, woven from 3 strands, indigenous ways of knowing, scientific knowledge, and stories that can be medicine for our broken relationship with the earth. The native people understood this. They discovered the 3 sisters, for example, corn, beans, and squash, and how when planted together, they could feed the people, feed the land, and feed our imaginations, telling us how we might live. Corn provides tall stalks, its leaves in every direction to catch the sun. The beans twine around the leaves so they are not outcompeted by sprawling squash vines. The beans also stabilize the tall corn during heavy winds and provide the necessary nitrogen to fertilize the soil. At the feet of the corn and beans, the leaves of the squash grow wider as they shelter the soil at the base of the corn and beans, keeping moisture in and other plants and insects out. Together, their stems inscribe what looks like a blueprint for the world, a map of balance and harmony. Respect for one another, support one another, bring your gift to the world and receive the gifts of others, and there will be enough for all. When the individuals flourish, so does the whole. I love the chapter on strawberries in the book. Kimmerer says, I was raised by strawberries, fields of them. In Potawatomi, the strawberry is Ode Min, the heart berry. Strawberries are recognized as the leaders of the berries, the first to bear fruit. Kimmerer said that strawberries first shaped her view of the world, full of gifts simply scattered at your feet. It is not a reward. You cannot earn it or call it to you or even deserve it. Your only role is to be open-eyed and present. Kimmerer said, as a child, she experienced the world as a gift economy. Quote, goods and services, unquote, not purchased, but received as gifts from the earth. I've always loved strawberries, but buying them from the store does not compare to picking them from the earth. The indigenous people identified them as the berry people, non-human persons, sovereign beings with their own wisdom. Kimmerer mentions how our laws give corporations the status of people with rights, but not plants. When we understand something as a gift, it opens doors that also leads to reciprocity. When someone gives you a gift, don't you feel inspired to reciprocate in some way? The same can be true with our natural world. So what is our response to the gifts of the earth? Most of the world has chosen to view the earth as property, but we can choose differently. We could choose to view Mother Earth as a world made of gifts. And how do we honor those gifts? As Kimmerer put it, we obviously don't have the answer yet, based on the wounds we have inflicted and continue to inflict upon the earth. The indigenous natives practiced what they called honorable harvest. These are rules that govern what they take, shape their relationships with the natural world, and rein in the tendency to consume, so that the world may be as rich for the seventh generation as it is for our own. A few of the main principles of honorable harvest. Never take the first plant you find, as it might be the last, and you want that first one to speak well of you to the others of her kind. Give it respect and thanks. Take only what you need and no more. Be grateful always, and always share with others, humans and others. And take only what is given to you. And yet, as a society, we take indiscriminately from the earth, whatever we want. Can we apply the concept of honorable harvest to our environmental challenges today? I quote, coal from the mountaintops is not given to us. Shale gas from hydrofracking poisons water. And we have more things to throw away. This is not given to us. Sun's energy is given to us. Wind blows every day. Taking only what is given could be a key part of a sustainable energy policy. So again, what does the earth ask of us? What is our response to the gifts of the earth? As the indigenous people understood, gratitude is one of the most important responses. I had a very moving experience several years ago when I traveled to India. I participated in a ceremony in Rishikesh that takes place every afternoon along the Ganges River called Aarti ceremony. The purpose of the ceremony is giving thanks to Mother Ganga. It was around a fire and there was chanting and singing. It was very beautiful and moving In fact, it brought me to tears, and it was a reminder of all the life-sustaining gifts that are received from the river. When we truly feel that gratitude for these gifts, we understand our responsibility to respect the gifts of the plants, land, water, and therefore protect them. So let us reflect on the messages brought to us by Robin Wall Kimmerer in Braiding Sweetgrass. As a society, we stand at the brink, we know we do. Through the hole that opens at our feet, we can look down and see a glittering blue and green planet, as if from the vantage point of space, vibrating with birdsong and toads and tigers. We could close our eyes, keep breathing poison air, witness the extinction of our relatives toward us, and jump from fear and portent. Or perhaps we can look down, drawn toward the glittering ocean, drawn toward the glittering green, hear the bird song, smell the sweet grass, and yearn to be part of a different story. The story we long for, the story that we are beginning to remember, the story that remembers us. What does it take to abandon what does not work and take the risk of uncertainty? We'll need courage, we'll need each other's hands to hold, and faith in the geese to catch us. It would help to sing, "The landing might not be soft, but land holds many and continues to measure our worth by how much we take." Propelled by love, ready to work, we can jump toward the world we want to co-create with pockets full of seeds and rhizomes. So I'd like to close with these words. We now turn our thoughts to the Creator or Great Spirit and send greetings and thanks for all the gifts of creation. Everything we need to live a good life is here on Mother Earth. For all the love that is still around us, we gather our minds together as one and send our choicest words of greetings and thanks to the Creator. Now our minds are one. Okay. So every month, thank you, everybody. Every month, we share the plate with a local nonprofit or charitable organization. And this month, we are sharing the plate with the Queen Street Heritage Foundation African American Culture Center. Their mission is to support and uplift the heritage of the Beaufort African American community and surrounding area by preserving history, providing educational resources, and offering social activities for the enrichment of the wider community. So I invite the greeters forward to collect today's offering. Am I supposed to? Okay. You're supposed to be words. I'm supposed to read here. How are we gonna do? And we thank you all. And now we'll join in blessing this offering with hymn 402. From you I receive. Hope, would you like to come back up and extinguish the chalice? So we extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. And now in Español, extinguimos esta llama, pero no la luz de la verdad, el calor de comunidad, o el fuego de nuestro compromiso. Estos los llevaremos en el corazón hasta que estemos juntos otra vez. And now, thank you, Hope. Please rise and now Tom will lead us in the hymn, We Celebrate the Web of Life.
We celebrate the web of life, its magnitude we sing, for we can see divinity in every living thing. A fragment of the perfect whole in cactus and in quill, as much in tiny barnacle as in the great whale. Of ancient dreams we are the sum, our bones linked stone to star, and hide our future worlds to come with worlds that were and are. Respect the water, land, and air, which gave all creatures birth. Protect the lives of all that share the glory of the earth.
It is our tradition to form a circle and hold hands or bump elbows or simply stand in the middle to feel our warmth. So our benediction is we hold the earth. Well,
Yes, our benediction.
we're going to read it together, I think. Yeah.
Yep.
Just a minute. Yeah, okay.
Our benediction for today is a prayer. It's called We Hold the Earth. Just take these words to heart if you don't mind. We begin. We hold brothers and sisters who suffer from storms and droughts intensified by climate change.
We hold all species that suffer.
We hold world leaders delegated to make decisions for life.
We pray that the web of life may be mended through courageous actions to limit carbon emissions.
Pray for right actions for adaptation and mitigation to help our already suffering Earth community.
We pray that love and wisdom might inspire our actions as communities, so that we may, with integrity, look into the eyes of brothers and sisters and all beings and truthfully say,
we are doing our part to care for them and the future of our children. May love transform us and our world with new steps toward life. Blessed be and amen. Don't forget to sign a postcard.
Postcard signing.